You're listening to a portion of our conversation from episode 271, featuring the Jurassic Wire with myself, Brad Jost, and co-host Aaron Beyer. If you want to hear the full conversation, download the episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, or wherever else you listen to your podcasts. Today we take a look at Jurassic World The Exhibition's return in Texas, Universal Orlando's T-Rex update, and Universal Hollywood's Jurassic World The Ride's major additions. All is good in the world of Jurassic entertainment, so let's dive into it all here today. As always, be sure to let us know what you think, and of course, we hope you enjoy it. Let's move on to our next one, which is Jurassic World The Exhibition, which is this is a big deal. Jurassic World The Exhibition is coming back to the United States, and it's going to be in Texas, in Dallas, at Landscape, in the Colony, whatever that place is. I think it's just like a venue. I believe that they're going to be setting this up in like their massive tent structure. It's like a big, semi-permanent tent structure that will house this entire thing instead of putting it inside of a museum like they've done previously here in the States. So this is interesting because I don't know if you were following along with like Instagram and maybe Twitter, but like City Neon, the company behind this, was kind of showcasing like, hey, this is how we pack up the show. This is how we move it. This is how we put it from city to city. And then like subtly putting in little details that like it's on the move to, the West or something like that. And then they said it's coming to the US. And then like we're all like scrambling, like posting about this, putting it up on our website. And then like literally an hour later, it's like, it's coming to Texas. And we finally know that it's coming to Texas in a completely like new format. Like I don't know if you've been following along. I think we've done a little bit of coverage.
Well, it looks like the China format.
Yep.
Yeah, like it looks like the China one. So I mean, is that what you're talking about? Is that like, or like, am I missing the point of
Oh, you've got it. I mean, that's the thing is this thing over here, it featured a few different, stopping points to kind of, get a look at a few different dinosaurs. Of course, there was the T-Rex that was like the Walking with Dinosaurs repurposed T-Rex.
Yeah.
From a lot of the promo stuff and the image that I have on the video, this is a T-Rex from like, it's the same one from like Jurassic World Live Tour. So they've kind of worked with the same.
I don't know, dude. Like, this one feels like version 2.0. Like this one might be a little bit better than the Live Tour one. Maybe.
I mean, look, it could be purposefully different, in terms of what it does, and how they made it. And I'm sure they've upgraded, the technology for these things since. But yeah, it's super exciting to see this come to the States again. Cause I with COVID and everything, I've never really known when we would see this again. And I just figured our time was up. We got it in Philly, we got it in Chicago. And then that was it. There was a time where it was going to be opened up into multiple different show experiences where like, hey, this thing could be in multiple cities all at once. But then that all kind of fell apart, I guess, mostly due to COVID there. So at least I don't know if they've still got that plan in motion now that things are starting to come back. But at least we have this one, transporting from over there to over here. And like I said, it's a fairly new experience overall. I mean, some of the same stuff still lingers, but overall, there's so much new stuff. You've got like the raptors in their containers with the headgear and stuff like that. Like, that's super cool. You've got baby dinosaurs all over the place in this thing. The new T-Rex. I'm sure I'm missing a ton of things, but the big deal here, and why I kind of prefaced it as it relating to our last topic of Camp Cretaceous, is that they said they're bringing new baby dinosaurs, including Bumpy from the popular animated Netflix original series Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous. So that is super awesome. I'm reading straight from the press release here. So Bumpy.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
That's cool. Like, I mean, I take for granted the fact that like I'm in my 30s watching Camp Cretaceous, that like, but I'm sure there's kids out there that think it's awesome. Like I'm looking at it like through a different lens, right? Like I look at Camp Cretaceous with a very like critiquing and a lens of what does this do for me, whereas as far as but this is some kid, but Camp Cretaceous is some kids Jurassic, especially if their parents won't let them see the actual movies.
Yeah.
So
and
that's
look, my
really
son loves
cool.
My son loves the show, and he's constantly talking about these different dinosaurs that he's seen in the show. And he loves Bumpy. He loves Bumpy so much, and he loves the characters. I can't tell you how many times he talks about Darius or Brooklyn, or the other day, he's just we were watching and he's looking at Kenji on the screen and he's like, I want to be like Kenji. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And he's like, I want to be tall like Kenji. I'm okay. He's in love with the show. So this is an experience for kids. This series is something kids should be tied to. So that's why when we always sound ridiculous when we break things down so much, but this is an experience that kids will absolutely love. And that's why Bumpy's coming. So I'm just so excited that this is coming back to the States.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, please, if you're going to go, be super safe, be super smart.
Yeah.
But if you are on the fence about it and, if you go, please support, these artists and what they're trying to bring to the stage, because I feel like these companies are raring to earn their profits back, right? There's been a lot of lost money over the last year and a half. So if you feel safe and you can be safe, I don't see any reason why you wouldn't want to enjoy this. This is awesome if you're in Texas.
Yeah. Universal. I'm reading through the press release here, and I found a part that says Universal Parks and Resorts President of Global Business Development, Michael Silver, said, "What excites us about Jurassic World, the exhibition, is the opportunity to give fans a real-world immersive experience based on the amazing adventures of the films and deliver to a location near to them." So I'm just wondering, why is Universal Parks and Resorts president commenting on this?
You know what's really sad about that? We, the president of Universal Parks, are excited that fans can have an immersive experience. Now, where else could they have an immersive experience that's nowhere near like it's because this puts the parks to shame. I've said this on the podcast before, when this is done and over, this has to be a permanent thing at Universal, right? It is shameful that this is so much better than Universal Studios, either one of them.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that in a little bit later in the show, because there's been some major upgrades. But that is interesting. I just don't know why is the Parks and Resorts person commenting on this? I have no idea. That's interesting to me. But you did mention safety, to make sure to be safe. They do have, it does say operational and management teams will continue to implement and enhance health and safety procedures. So they're basically following CDC guidelines and stuff like that. They have a bunch of information on their website. So, definitely be sure to check that out. But there's also an AR portion of this. So if you play Jurassic World Alive, I know, did you used to play that, or do you still play it?
No, because data caps in Canada are terrible, but
okay.
That's cool. I'm not a huge AR fan, but I know that when done right, it can be really, really, really neat. So it's neat that they're bringing something else into this,
Yeah, it says you can locate exclusive incubators, which you incubate your dinosaurs in the game to use them for battles and stuff. So it says you can snap a picture or take a video of a dinosaur using the game's AR feature, post them to social media, stuff like that. So it's pretty cool that they're getting that involved in the process there. Because initially I saw it on social media that Jurassic World Alive was posting about the exhibition coming to Texas. I was like, why are they posting about that? What do you care?
So are they a part of it then? Is it their developers?
I guess everybody's working together. It's pretty interesting that this is what I'm talking about in terms of what we need as fans is this relationship between all of these companies.
That lease out the property.
Fantastic. This is fantastic to see. So yeah, I love that they're working hand in hand to bring something new and working to bring this show, or to make the show better and better every time. So that's pretty
Right.
awesome. So
You know what that reminds, and this is totally off topic, and maybe I told this story here, but like, one of the developers on Star Wars Fallen Order, right? Is that what the game was? The
Jedi Fallen Order. Yeah.
Right? Okay. So one of the audio files in there mentions a guy's name, and the guy's name is one of the developers' dads who took him to see Star Wars when he was a kid and like had since passed away. And so like the developer was like super excited. He's like, I got to put my dad in canon in Star Wars. Like that's just really cool. And like, I mean, this has nothing to do with what we're talking about now, but we're talking about developers, and I like that story, so I'm telling it.
That's awesome, though. That's awesome. So let me ask you this: you saw it in Philly. We saw it together.
Yeah.
Do you missed out because of how awesome this looks now? Like,
yeah, of course, 100%. Like, but whenever you check out version 1.0 of anything, you're always going to miss out. I'm sure. We saw a live tour before it came out, and like I can't even imagine like if that thing was allowed to keep going, and if time were normal, I feel like the show would be even that much better by now.
Yeah. You see this massive like projection or wrap or image here of like Isla Nublar on the Brachiosaurus. Like I don't think that was there. That's amazing, and that's super cool.
Well, this Brachiosaur looks like the Jurassic. I mean, it kind of looks like the Jurassic World one. It's closer than anything we've ever had before. Like,
it looks pretty great. Yeah, I agree. I think it's probably the same one that we saw.
You think so?
I think so, but we didn't see Stiggy, dude. Like, how cool is Stiggy?
No, we didn't see the Stiggy Moloch. No.
The labs look mostly the same. I think there's some different containers and things like that throughout the labs. But the baby dinosaurs all throughout this thing. I love that element in Universal Orlando, how like they and the other parks as well, they have like baby raptors and stuff now, but they've always had like babies, like the Triceratops and stuff like that, the baby one. And it's super cute that they like hold these things, and how they work it. And it's always
like puppets.
Yeah. So I love that they've added that element into these labs and stuff like that. And then we got the raptors, which maybe this is why it's so hand in hand, is because they're all working together with Universal Parks, because this is going to be something that we'll probably be seeing identically in the new Velocicoaster attraction in Orlando.
Do you know this, or do you think this?
We've seen it.
We've seen it. Oh, okay.
We've at least seen one raptor. So assumingly there will be more, because all 4 raptors are static, statues in the attraction. So I would hope that the rest of these are in the queue, just like this is like a queue you walk by these guys in the exhibition here. But so
this is like a huge thing for me with Jurassic, is they invest, because it's their marketing, they invest so much into velociraptors and T-Rex. Yep. Like, I would just be as ecstatic. Like when I was a kid, I was actually fortunate enough to see the Triceratops.
Were you?
Veterinary thing? Yeah.
I never saw that. That's awesome.
It kind of goofy, but you know what? Like when you're in Jurassic Park, that's probably something you would see. Like you would.
I was thinking about that recently, and I know that Velocicoaster took over that spot.
Sure,
but it's so sad that they opted to close it instead of making it a long experience where you have to sit and listen to like a lecture from a guy. Like instead of doing that, just make it kind of like a quicker, raptor encounter type experience where you go up and you stand there and take a picture with the Triceratops. That would have been super cool and effective, and kept a good flow of people through the park. So
it was a super weird experience. The way I remember it as a kid was you waited in line, but you didn't have to like sit and listen. It wasn't like a show. It was just this guy talked about this Triceratops, and he probably had like a 20-minute speech on it. And he probably just said the same things over and over, like every 10, 15 minutes. You could stay as long as you wanted. Hammond was a character. He would come in and like talk to the vet, check in on his dinosaur. But it wasn't like, I don't think there was ever like a situation where they forced you to leave like this, right? The exhibition, they're going to kind of want you to shuffle through. And I would imagine with social distancing precautions, when we were there, we were like, nah, let's hang back. Right. But I guarantee now it's like
2 hours. Yeah.
Yeah. I guarantee now they're going to like, you're going to be in that room and they are not going to let anybody else in that room until they clear, they're like clear the room.
Yeah.
Right.
That's probably accurate. I don't know, but yeah.
Oh, come on, man. Like,
no.
All the social distancing, touching things, like you're not going to be sticking your hand. Remember we stuck our hands in like fake poop or something?
Yeah.
That's not happening.
Yeah, I would not do that anymore. No, I'm good.
No.
But that was like, even back then I was like, this is like, I don't know if I want to do this, but I'm going to do it. But now
kids. No, stick your hand.
Gross. Yeah, it's like, all right, guys, look, you got Stiggy, you got Bumpy, you got all this cool stuff. We had a big pile of poop that we stuck our hands in. All right, so
we had Pachyrhinosaurus, which was kind of cool. Where is that? Like, did they just take that away?
I don't know. I'm assuming that's not there. I can't say officially. I don't know. I haven't watched like a walkthrough video or anything recently, but there is a Stegosaurus still there. It looks like gyrosphere is fine. They've got a gyrosphere in there. So that's super cool. And then obviously the T-Rex.
T-Rex looks so good.
Yeah, it looks so good. This whole experience is really awesome. I'm super excited to see it come back. Tickets are on sale now. I'm assuming there's still stuff available. But yeah, the Indominus always looked really cool. I loved that thing at the show.
Yeah.
It was so fluid and so good looking. Like, that was awesome.
It was really good.
But yeah, so check out their website. I'll try to provide the links and stuff like that in the show notes. But very excited. I don't know if I'll ever go out to Texas to experience it, but hopefully it makes a few stops along the way.
I think we're about, once we come out of COVID and once we start ramping into the new movie, I think we're about to get inundated with all this stuff again. Yeah.
I mean, hopefully, fingers crossed. We've seen a lot of movement from Feld Entertainment, who produced a live tour. We've seen movement from them in terms of other shows and casting other shows. So hopefully, if there's no reason that they're making those, that they can't continue Jurassic. So hopefully one day we get all these experiences back. But I think that probably wraps it up for the exhibition. But it's very exciting. That's about that.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say about it.
Let's move on to some quick topics here. First off, I just want to stop over into Universal Orlando. So they popped the T-Rex back into the land there. So did you get a glimpse of this T-Rex?
Yeah. No, you titled this like, oh, T-Rex coloring. I'm assuming you're meaning it's off, right? Like, is that what you're after?
That was what I wanted to bring up, just to get your thoughts. When I saw this getting shared around in the theme park community that I'm heavily involved in, everybody's like, dude, this is awesome. So glad to have this back. It's fantastic. In the Jurassic community, the Jurassic side of things, everybody's like, yo, what's going on with that color? So do you have any thoughts or feelings on the color of this T-Rex? Just, I know it's silly, but do you have any thoughts or feelings on
I feel like the color of this T-Rex matches at least one shot in the original movie, because that T-Rex, I feel like, changes colors a few times based on lighting.
That's fair. Very fair. And maybe there's a lot of HDR on this, a lot of whatever that thing is in the middle of Instagram that you blast up to make your images look semi cool.
Maybe. To me, the biggest sin of this entire thing has always been this Jeep. Like,
the Explorer there.
The Explorer. You could not be more off on the red. Like, they had literally, they just had to choose red paint
in the
red paint. That was it. They were so close on the rest of it. Like, who did this burgundy purple? Like, who made this decision? What reference did they look at? Like, it's terrible. Other than that, like the Rex, I would have to see. I have my picture with the original one when I was probably 12. Probably the same trip. I'm talking about the Triceratops encounter. But I mean, we're so protective over this T-Rex in this fandom. It's kind of obnoxious when there's four other T-Rexes. Look, there's 4 other T-Rexes in the franchise, right? There's Rexy, then there's the 2 adults in the
one. Right.
Okay. So there's 4 T-Rexes total, right?
No. There's 3. There's 4 total, right? No.
Yeah, 4 total.
Wait, there's Rexy, there's the baby, there's the 2 adults, and then
there's
adults,
not the baby.
Oh, not the baby. Well, 5, including a baby.
Okay, fine. 4 adults though, right? They're all different colors. And we know that John Hammond, based on the mural, wanted to have more than 1 T-Rex in Jurassic Park. So, like, this doesn't have to be Rexy. This could be
so deep, and I hate it.
we know. Look, we know from the mural that is in the shot in the Lost World when Nick Van Owen's on the phone, right? We see multiple T-Rexes. Okay, so we know that the 1 T-Rex in Jurassic Park was not intended to be the only one. Also in the book, there's a baby T-Rex, a juvenile in the thing. So, like, to me, this doesn't have to be Rexy. This doesn't have to be the T-Rex from the Jurassic Park movie. This can just be a T-Rex. Like, I'm fine with that. Like, whatever.
Well, look, here's how I look at it. Okay, so I've seen the comparison images, the contrasting of all of the looks at this T-Rex that we've seen, because it's supposed to be evoking that Rexy imagery. But I don't care how this looks. I got to be honest.
As long as it's not like crazy off. I feel like I said, I can think of the Gallimimus scene. I feel like he might be similar in tone.
It goes back, like you're saying, it changes throughout the film. Like, it looks lighter there. It looks darker at night. It looks it's all over. Now, surely there are features like the eyeball and stuff like around there. It's certainly not as dark, and overall it does look a bit more tan or brown or lighter brown than what we see in the film. But the way I look at it is, this is a T-Rex against an explorer that's not got the appropriate color scheme in a section that is Jurassic Park. Also Jurassic World with blue, with a terrible looking Ultrasaurus, with there's too many problems within one land to worry about what this Rex looks like. That's the way I see it.
You nailed it. There are too many problems to really even care. It's all wrong anyway. Why are we focused on this?
That's the attitude I feel like we need in general. There's too many problems to care.
It's the Jurassic Park mantra. Too many problems to care.
That's anytime anybody asks me about anything Jurassic related. There's too many problems. I just don't care anymore. That's it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
That's how it looks. And also, like literally inside the ride, that's like pretty much right near this, the T-Rex looks completely different than this one. So
yeah.
What are we talking about here? What are we doing? What are we doing?
Once again, we can't, because it looks totally different. We can assume that there's more than 1 T-Rex in the Universal Orlando Jurassic Park.
Are you telling me there was more than 1 T-Rex on Isla Nublar? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Do we have to research?
Awesome. No, there's not, because Hammond says we clock the T-Rex at 30 miles an hour. There's only 1.
So I want to jump over to Universal Hollywood. We do have an update here to Jurassic World The Ride, which is, I think, a pretty good update, dude. I don't know if you've checked out the video. Actually, let me go over to this video here. It's actually a comparison video where you get to see the new and the old. This is from Inside Universal. So just going through the ride here. The beginning portion, let me skip ahead just a little bit. This is all mostly the same. So if you didn't realize, the park had been closed for Universal Hollywood had been closed since like COVID hit, really. It was open for a little bit and then it closed down, and then it's been closed for like over a year, I believe. And it opened up again in April, and finally people got to go on Jurassic World The Ride again. And there were updates. We were kind of told via press release and stuff like that, the new Indominus Rex is super fluid. It's amazing. It's all this cool stuff. So we were kind of like, is it going to be new? I mean, it was there already. The Indominus was there, right? Like, what's new? Why is it new? What do you mean? What are you guys talking about? But there's a lot of new stuff here. So actually starting like in the middle portion of the attraction, they updated, you know how there's, if for anybody who's been on the ride, there's a raptor pen, which is, this is a Jurassic World ride, but sure, it's the raptor pen from the original movie. And they've kind of retitled this area Predator Cove. And the cove had right next to the raptor pen the Indominus paddock, which is broken out, and it's destroyed this whole area. The walls are scratched and super bloody. It's actually fairly like gory of a location. Previously, there were like dead pteranodons and stuff like that all over the place, just being a bloody mess. It was just kind of grotesque. Like it was like, what is going on here with the theming? There were just crates all over the place and just dead birds lying all over. But the new version actually kind of rethemed this area to be a little more family friendly. I mean, it's still got blood splatter and stuff like that. They introduced a gyrosphere lookout point. Gyrosphere raptor lookout point. So like, what is that? I don't know. It's a point where you drive your gyrosphere up and then look at a raptor pen, which you clearly can't see any.
Can you imagine being in your gyrosphere? Lookout point sounds like to me like a cliffside area. Can you imagine being in your gyrosphere and you're like rolling right up to the edge and you're like, how far can I tip this thing to look down into the lookout valley?
I mean, it sounds like a fun idea, but like I think they've done their best here with updating this, and I do prefer this new version. Sensically, it doesn't. What was the phrase that I came up with before? It just doesn't matter or whatever. Have
we talked about what would a raptor encounter really look like in universe? Like, have we ever talked about what you would want that to be? I feel like I've talked about it, but
I don't know. Because what would that be? Any instance we've seen of like somebody coming up to a raptor pen or anything like that has been, very scary and intimidating, and always met with like some sort of like near attack or something like that. So
yeah,
tough thing to do. It's kind of a tough.
Well, in Jurassic Park, I'm assuming it's just kind of like another paddock, like all the others. But like in my head canon, right? I would love to see, like, think of like a Shark Tank, but like above ground. And so like the people are walking through like glass tunnels through like a jungle, and there's just raptors, a pack of raptors everywhere, right? Like, and it's kind of like, it'd be like humans, I guess, like in a hamster cage, like hamster tunnels, but like walking through the jungle, and maybe like they deck it out with like some, because they're from Asia for the most part, right? Maybe they deck it out with like some old temples or something.
Raptors, you mean?
Yeah, raptors. Maybe they deck it out with some like, kind of like how Animal Kingdom decks out like their stuff with like thematic areas.
Yeah, there's always like a temple or something like that. Like
yeah. Anyway, that's a total side tangent.
That's fantastic. I mean, that would be much better than rolling your gyrosphere up to the same level as the raptor pen, which is somehow the raptor pen's actually higher than the lookout point. But anyway, I do appreciate the update here. I love that the compies that kind of like have, for years have always been like fighting over something.
Yeah.
Are there, like they're fighting over a hat. They're back. And yeah, you've got a gyrosphere, which I don't believe was on the attraction previously. A new sign here for the lookout point. And let's see here. Predator Cove, still pretty torn up. Man, that old version, just ugly. Just not good.
It's just lame.
There's like some sort of map there and like a display case that looks like it's destroyed. Oh, no, that's the glass, I guess, from the gyrosphere. But that's pretty cool. I mean, I appreciate the update there for Predator Cove. So there's some TV differences and stuff, which I'm like, why is this weird? This is a weird update. They took away one TV and the surrounding cases that encapsulate these TV. I'm confused about that, but okay. But once we get a little bit deeper in, There's the T-Rex Kingdom over here inside the attraction, which is just before the point where you go up the ramp into the show building. And there's a nice little surprise right here. Previously, this was not here, but there is an Indominus Rex head that pops through.
That's awesome. Cool.
Fantastic. So I don't know if they swapped out the Indominus, like if this was like up top before, because up top it was a very simple, just it was surrounded by like shrubbery and stuff like that. You really only got a glimpse of like the head of the Indominus up top.
Yeah, it was probably this one was ready to go.
So I don't know if they would like transport, if that is like feasible for them to do, but it's very cool to see an Indominus down here. Peeking its head through. But we make our way up to the top portion. That's very cool. I do like that a lot. Inside, you get Dilophosaurus. You get Blue. Was more stagnant, I guess, in the old version. Blue walks around all over the. Maybe it was more stagnant. I don't really know. Maybe that was just the walk through or the ride through. But man, dude, I don't know if you've seen this Indominus. And I know
this is the first time. This is really cool.
You were kind of like talking down to the parks earlier in regards to Jurassic World the exhibition, but I gotta say this animatronic here, I don't know officially or anything like that, but this has to be one of the biggest and most impressive animatronics in any theme park anywhere. And I don't think I'm overstating that. I think that's pretty accurate description here. It is massive. It is so huge. It is over top of you, like, which seems unsafe, but like it fights there right next to the T-Rex as a T-Rex comes out over the waterfall, same as it used to, and just you fall down the waterfall like you used to. But dude, how impressive is that animatronic? It is so impressive.
It makes me so incredibly sad that it's based off of some fake dinosaur. Like, man, I wish this was.
I love the Indominus, like the look of the Indominus. I just love that creature so much. Sure, it's not real, but I still love
the only thing that can make this any better is on the other side, put the Spinosaurus. Just go nuts. It's not accurate anyway.
I know. Yeah, like, I've always said, what is this moment in the? It's not in the film ever at all. So it's just its own thing. But it's cool. It's amazing, and I think this update here really really propels this to being a very good attraction. Do you have any take on the updates and how you feel about it? I know we haven't ridden this, either of us. We never rode any version of the Jurassic
World ride. Yeah. I mean, again, for me, it's just this sadness of the fact that it's not Jurassic Park anymore, which I know is totally stupid. Like, I don't know. I'm not against Jurassic World. It just bums me out that like this ride was never this cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, Disney always was the king of dinosaur rides. Like, that dinosaur ride at Animal Kingdom is second to none. I still would probably argue that it's probably even better than this one still, but like,
oh no, that's easily better than this, right?
Yeah.
Sure, I think this animatronic is the most impressive one that we have anywhere, but I do think that attraction is overall better than this one.
Kind of weird that like they're cashing in because the Indominus is done. Is Jurassic World that seminal of a film that like the Indominus Rex is a bigger deal than like Carnotaurus? Because I feel like personally, like taste wise, I feel like putting a Carnotaurus in here doesn't necessarily like date this ride. You know what I'm saying? Like, does that make sense?
No, that definitely makes sense because like everything is centered around one moment in time, and that revolves around a lot of things. I mean, we've talked about that plenty, but like the live tour.
Like, when you're on this ride, you're in 2015. You're in 2015, right? Like, if you made this a Carnotaurus, this could have been any time in in history, I guess. Even though this doesn't fit in with this is not canonical, so.
Yeah, this is not whatsoever canonical, but I just think, and I saw somebody, I'm sorry, I do not know who tweeted it out, but I think it was over in the theme park community. Somebody had said that this room, this moment here, and this attraction is one of the most impressive scenes in any theme park ride ever. And I think I would probably agree. Again, I have not written it, but just judging by what we see here, the size of the room, the scope of the room, the scope of these animatronic figures, Blue walking right there, the Dilophosaur, there's so much going on here. Plus that drop, it's the thrill of this entire moment is near unbeatable. But in terms of the full scope of the ride, yeah, sure, other rides are more thrilling maybe, but
how many herbivores have been like sacrificed to make this ride? Like, do we still have like the Stegosaurus and
they're still there. They're
Protoceratops or whatever it was, Protoceratops, like
no, I don't actually, they kind of skip over it in this portion, but outside of the Mosasaur area is still the Stegosaurs, but I don't think anything else. Also the Parasaurolophus are still there, I believe.
Okay.
So yeah, there's definitely a big difference between the rides, but
weird. It is a weird downgrade on these TV monitors, for sure.
Yeah, well, I don't know what's going on with those TV. Like, I feel like did they just not finish the TVs this time around? It's like weird, like visible speakers versus like, a self-contained unit on the other ones. Like,
yeah,
I don't know what's going on there. Why is there, I don't know. I have no idea, but I do appreciate this. And I felt when this ride came out back in whenever this came out, I don't remember at this point.
Pre-COVID.
Yeah, whenever that was, 19 years ago. It felt unfinished, right? It felt like it wasn't done. And now it feels legit. It feels like this is what we should have gotten at the start. And
they told us that it wasn't. They told us in the beginning that was not a finished ride.
Why? Well, yeah, but why do it? Why release it? Just finish it. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but
money, man.
Yeah, just they had to get it out at that moment. But luckily they did. Luckily they did, because they had plenty of time to finish it when all is said and done. So I think this is impressive. I very, very much think this is a very good attraction, and honestly better than Jurassic Park the ride. So there's that.
Probably. Maybe. I don't know.
100% better, just because there's so many iffy moments in the Jurassic Park iteration. Sure, the color's better in the old one, and some fun moments in the old one, but I just think overall this is pretty.
You don't like the Ultrasaur that like maybe the head gets to the top of the arc?
That's one of my least favorite moments in any attraction ever, and probably one of the worst animatronics I've ever seen. So at least they've upgraded to one of the best ever. So this gives me a lot of hope for what we're going to see in Beijing. With an attraction that's more like Dinosaur the Ride, with the vehicle that moves and stuff like that. So I'm very excited to see, what they've got up their sleeves out there. So very cool, very cool. And I just love the updates. So